Hello and welcome. I'm Ijoma Onyato. Tonight, Senate receives full list of ministerial nominees. Screening for the candidates begins tomorrow. EFCC quizzes former Benue State Governor Gabriel Suswam for alleged embezzlement and corrupt practices. The NNPC says it has not slashed pump price of petroleum products, calls stories on the reversal mischievous. And U.S. military delivers more than 25 tons of ammunition to rebel fighters in northeast Syria.
On Business News tonight, government and public sector operators gather in Abuja for the 21st Nigerian Economic Summit.
And on sports news tonight, the Tigress captain Helen Ogunjimi insists the team can scale all hurdles and qualify for the 2016 Rio Olympic Games.
The President, Muhammadu Buhari, has submitted more names of ministerial nominees to the Senate for screening. Now, this is the second time a ministerial nominee list would be submitted to the Senate after a first batch of 21 names were presented to the Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki. The Chief of Air Staff to the President, Alhaji Abba Kyari, who was accompanied by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on National Assembly Matters, Senator Ita Enai, and his counterpart for the House of Representatives, Honorable Suleiman Kau, handed over the letter to the Senate President at exactly 4:24 p.m. The letter was sealed and will only be opened by the Senate President at plenary tomorrow. The last time the Senate President received this caliber of visitor was on September the 30th. Two of the ministerial nominees whose names were sent to the upper chamber by the President have appeared before the Senate Ad Hoc Committee on Ethics and Privileges. They are the former governor of Rivers State, Chibuike Amechi, and Hajia Amina Mohammed. The lawmakers, however, suspended consideration of the petition against the ministerial nomination of Mr. Amechi as the matter is in court. The chairman of the committee said the decision is in accordance with the rules of the Senate, prompting the nominee to take his leave once this was established. Thereafter, the Senate committee considered a petition against the nomination of Hajia Mohammed and also listened to the petitioner.
The first ministerial nominee arriving to face the Senate Committee on Ethics and Privileges. The committee immediately gets down to work and invites the nominee to respond to the allegations raised in the petition that she is not an indigene of Kaduna State.
Confirm and affirm that I am an indigene of Gombe State, have never been or never claimed to be an indigene of Kaduna State. My nomination by Mr. President for the position of Minister in the Federal Republic of Nigeria is an honor and a privilege, and I will be before you in the next few days to see if you think the same.
A member of the committee sought to know why the nominee only got a certificate of indigeneship early this month.
I believe that it was in my interest to do so to prove that I am an indigene of Gombe State. So I went back to where I come from to ask for that proof, and that's why it came. And otherwise, I have never been questioned about my state of origin, and I've never said otherwise.
The nominee was then allowed to leave. It was then time for the petitioner to face the committee.
When that Mr. Nominee was mentioned, was there any attachment to the state where she comes from?
Initially, when the name was released from the newspaper reports, we saw, especially from the social media, we saw a name, a state being attached to that name. And that formed the basis of our belief that she is actually a nominee from Kaduna State.
So, in other words, your petition to this Senate is anticipatory in case?
Well, yes. In case it is, then we are opposing it, sir.
So if it's confirmed that she's not from Kaduna State,
then our petition can be petitioned, sir.
Thank you very much.
But all attention appeared focused on the petition against the nomination of Rotimi Amechi. Even before he came in, the lawmakers had a disagreement on the matter.
I want to say that Senator Olaka will observe status during the proceeding, because he was one of the 3 people who lead that petition in the interest of justice and equity.
I will. Yes, that means to say the truth. Yes, Olaka will not vote.
but he can sit down as a member. That's what I said. You cannot say that he has observer status. Excuse me. They cannot reduce him to observer status.
The committee needs to meet in a closed door. Please, the committee have to meet in a closed door. Let the clerk, please let the pressmen wait for us. When we are reaching the next petition, you may now come in.
This was, however, resolved in a closed-door session. When the committee opened its doors to meet with former Governor Rotimi Amechi, the lawmaker from Rivers State was not seen. But the consideration was, however, over very quickly.
If you have this a letter from your lawyer, and are you confirming that this matter is in court?
We are in court, sir.
If the case or the issues raised in the petition before you is already pending in the court, as a committee and as a very responsible Senate, it is in our standing rule that any matter in court that will not entertain it because that will amount to subterfuge. Having considered that the fact an issue is in court, we wouldn't want to run foul with the law. So we want to say that we want to suspend this for now. If there's any need to reconvene, when we must have looked at issues before us, we will communicate to you. Is that which the committee?
The committee appears to have finished its work as it says it has considered the 2 petitions it has received. The committee is expected to report back to the Senate before the ministerial nominees are screened by the Senate. Lanre Lasese, Channels Television News.
In less than 24 hours, the screening of the ministerial nominees will commence on the floor of the Senate. The long wait for the nominees has finally come to an end after 4 months, but the list of the proposed cabinet is generating lots of controversy. Our political correspondent, Sheung Okimbaloye, reports.
The screening of the ministerial nominees will begin in earnest, and we at Channels Television are keeping tabs on the process every step of the way. We understand that former senators, 4 of them, will go first, while former governors will follow with the others coming after them. It looks like it's going to be perhaps one of the most controversial ministerial screening in Nigeria's recent political history. Out of the modalities expected to be followed in the exercise, some of which include submitting of CVs, profiling by security agencies, answering questions. This one, as announced by the Senate spokesperson, has become a subject of controversy.
We are saying in line with our convention, minimum of 2 senators must support that candidate.
Although many Nigerians have raised concern over this, but the Senate says that rule is not sacrosanct. Others are quick to remind the Senate of how it conducted a screening involving one of their own and a former minister, Senator Musiliu Obanikoro. But one point the leadership of the Senate may want to strongly pass across is that it won't be business as usual.
It's not going to be business as usual. What I can assure you is that we'll go with the Constitution, with our rules.
A thorough process the Senate has promised, but some of their former colleagues will feel the heat first. Then the former governors may get a more stringent one, a tough path before a bow can come through.
When this list was coming, we expected full 36, not partial. After 4 months.
The quality of the nominees have received enormous criticism from across board.
It does not justify the 4-month delay. These same people could have been submitted even a week after the inauguration of the president.
The first question you ask yourself is this: where are the angels? This is the president that promised us that this time around is going to be change. And where is he changing the list?
Nomination is the president's prerogative, and right now there's nothing anybody can do about it. Even if a nominee is disqualified or found to be, not qualified, the president can keep representing.
Nigerians on the streets too are not left out in the debate.
They are just the normal, regular faces we have always seen in government, recycled, leaders, as it were. And I didn't see any reason why the president should have waited so long.
They should follow the rules. They should screen them. What screening do you have? What makes them to become a governor in the first instance? Are they not qualified?
Who becomes the next petroleum minister has attracted attention, but the presidency appears to be clear on this office.
Yes, he will supervise that ministry, and maybe he will have a minister of state to work along with him. So it's not as if he's going to bear the designation Minister for Petroleum Resources.
Huge expectations lie ahead of the screening exercise. The integrity of the 8th Senate will be put to test, but the people will be on the sideline to pass their judgment at the end of the day. Sheon Wakimale reporting for Channels Television News.
In part 2, after the break, more on the screening process. I'll be joined by a legal practitioner, Mr. Ebun Adegburua, and former President Olusegun Obasanjo visits President Muhammadu Buhari at the villa, discusses how to end terrorism in the country. That's all coming up in a moment. So join us again.